Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. It's me, Teen Shallot, and today we're talking about a whole new what if. A what if about the betrayal of the favorite, the red dragon, the emperor himself, Issei. You may all know him as that pervert. Well, today you're gonna learn what happens to perverts in the high school DxD universe. And it's not a good one this time. No, it's even worse. Because today we're talking about what if Issei was betrayed. Now, let us begin. Issei woke up one day. He was wondering what he's gonna do. How is he gonna see Rias? How is he gonna just talk to her? Remember, this took place after the Kokabeel incident, which means that the next battle with Betrayal will happen. Alright, now we continue. Issei woke up, and then he saw his parents outside in his room, and he asked what happened. They looked with faces full of sorrow and anger. And he asked, why are you so angry? What happened? And they said to him, we've had enough, Issei. We try to keep up with your perverted attitude, and it has come to us that you have been a pervert this whole time and have not even tried to change. We're ashamed of you. Ashamed to call you even our child. So, we are disowning you. You are not a Hyodo. A real Hyodo would not be the kind of pervert that you are. Now get out of this house before we kill you ourselves. Because I feel like we'd be doing society a justice by taking out a pervert like you. Issei was taken aback. He's never heard his parents say such things to him. He was broken. He lost hope. Inside, he felt like he lost something precious to him. And he wouldn't know until he lost it himself, and he found that it was his parents' support always being there for him. But he was never there for them. They always told him not to be a pervert, but he never changed. He just kept going. And he realized that being a pervert is just not good. Enough for him. But he goes to school with all his stuff, all his P-mags were taken out because that's what he most belongs to him. And then he goes to school and he goes to the O.R.C. He was gonna ask Rias if he could live with her. And he said, Bucho, how are you doing? And she looked at him with a face of disgust. And she said, what are you doing here, Issei? And Issei's taken aback and he's like, Bucho, Rias. He's like, you don't dare call me that name. Don't you dare say my name. Or else if you wish to die. And then he says like, Bucho, what are you talking about? You pervert. We try to live with you being a pervert. We thought after you saved me, you thought that you could just get all up in with me? No, I just went after my marriage. Now, throughout this whole thing, I thought we were supposed to be together, Issei. But no, you were perverted to every girl here. Even Akana. And I thought that there was only going to be one. Your whole dream about being the harem king. Look what that brought you. We don't want you here. You're just a pervert, a good and forsaking nobody. Somebody who we only need for their power. And that's the only reason I actually reincarnated you. If you weren't the Red Dragon Emperor, I'd just leave you for dead. No, I only did it because of your power. And that's the only reason you're still here. So just leave. We don't need you. We'll call you when we need you and your power. And this broke Issei's heart. Shattered his hopes. And then came through the doors the rest of the O.R.C. And then they all had the same looks on their faces. Same sorrow and anger. Anger towards Issei and disgust on their faces. And they all kept saying, we don't need you, you're not our brother. Then Kaiba says, you're not my brother. My real brother would never act like the secret pervert that you are. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should not even dare call yourself the Red Dragon Emperor. Go to hell, Issei. At that time, Issei realized, was this all a joke? Was this all a lie? I helped Kaiba get away from his revenge. He called me a brother. Was that all a lie? Was that all just some plan of his? No, No, I don't believe it. No, at least Asia, at least she'll help me. And then Issei turned around and he's like, Asia, you believe me, don't you? You know I'm not a bad person. I'm sorry, Issei, but no, I can't handle your perverted attitude anymore. You should have just died the moment you were alive. A pervert like you should never live. Issei, everything shattered in his being. Then, when he turned around, everybody saw fear. They saw his broken and shattered eyes. They saw blank eyes. Eyes that were not filled with happiness that was once used to be there. No. Filled with sorrow and anger, hate, vengefulness, revenge. Wanting revenge so bad. And they were scared. Scared of what might happen someday. Because of what they did to Issei. Now, Issei leaves. And he's been kicked out of the O.R.C. And every person goes over to him. And they start making schemes, start spreading rumors of how he got kicked out. Maybe forced themselves on the O.R.C. That's why they kicked him out. Or maybe he just betrayed them. They would never know the reality of his mistakes. And then, one day, while he had enough, he thought to himself, being a pervert, this is what put me in here in the first place. I should not even be alive. I should die. But then comes Ddraig. He goes on his arm and he says, partner, this is not you. You are the dragon, the red dragon emperor. You need to survive. You need to show them a dragon's rage. You may have been a pervert, so what? You have been powerful. You've been there for them every single time. You've been there when they needed you the most, and they just cast you aside. Now it's time for you to show them what happens when they cross a dragon. And then Issei, a fire deep inside his body, burned brightly. He stood up with pride in his eyes, and he said, Ddraig, is there some way for me to get rid of these evil pieces out of me so that I may not have to be with that piece of shit Rias and her O.R.C. I need to leave. I'm gonna get away from the devil world and I'm gonna get revenge. I'm gonna show everybody why I'm the strongest dragon to have ever existed. And then filled with a fiery rage of fire blows around him. The whole fire surrounds Issei. And then with a rageful blow, he says, change me, Ddraig. Turn me into the dragon, the legendary dragon emperor. And then Ddraig says, as you wish it. And so Ddraig proceeds to take out the procedure to turn him into a full-blown dragon on the inside, but outside he's human. But he has dragon features. He has a tail now. Dragon scales are showing over his face. Keen, all his senses have been heightened. He can think 100 times per millisecond. He's the fastest thinker alive, and he's got more powerful strength, picking up 2 and 3 tons. All he needs to train, and he'll be the strongest dragon emperor. And then, you may all be thinking, will Issei go evil? You'll all have to find that out for yourself. I can't tell you that, you just gotta listen to the story. Now, let's just continue. Issei, Ddraig used the evil piece as a catalyst to keep him going so he wouldn't die with a 50-50 chance. Issei survived, but he woke up and he said, alright Ddraig, I need to fake my death. I need to make it look like I died, killed myself so that they can all feel guilty for my death. And then Ddraig says, yes, let us show them the true rage of dragons. You shall become the best Welsh dragon emperor, the strongest dragon emperor. And then Issei goes and first he needs to apologize to the Kendo Club. That'll be his first action as a dragon. Though he has a dragon pride, he still has a humanity in him somewhere deep. He still has humanity. But he is not a pervert no more. No, he's more dangerous. He is a man who has lost everything. And so, he is more dangerous than someone who has everything because he has nothing. Nothing, no shit left to give. And so, Ddraig takes Issei and he brings him to the Kendo Club's door. He goes in and then he sees and he says, he opens it and he says, Karase, I'm sorry for peeping on you all the time, and if you guys don't want to see me again, that's okay for me. And then Karase did not know, she just couldn't control it. She said, you should just go and off yourself. You should go die. Go kill yourself. You don't deserve to live. You're just a pervert. Just, leave. And then when Issei looked up, he showed his broken eyes. Behind them was a fire, an intense fire. And then Karase saw that broken, bloodied eyes. And she felt immediately bad. And she tried to tell him, no, Issei, I'm sorry. But nothing would work. No. Issei would never forgive Karase after that. He said sorry, and she just spit on his sorry. So, Issei goes back. And then he goes and he goes to the fountain where he supposedly died. Where he actually died, yes. And then he says, Ddraig, produce a knife. So Ddraig produced a knife. And then Issei said, so, you producing a knife. So Ddraig, give me a paper. So Ddraig gave him paper, and then Issei wrote in it a whole note and everything. He wrote, Dear school, someone told me to go kill myself. So I thought, why not? I thought my life wasn't worth it. So I thought, why not just do it? End the deed. But you wouldn't believe. They were right. I should. Being the person I am, realize that being a pervert's a bad thing. And that maybe I should have died the first moment that I got the chance to kill myself. So I would leave with a sore heart. What a rage-filled one. You all effed up. You guys made a mistake by trying to come after me, telling me to kill myself, making all those rules. And to the O.R.C, I hope you're happy with yourself. You made your own pawn commit suicide. You should be ashamed of yourselves. And so, Issei puts that down, takes the knife. He just cuts his arm, lets the blood drop everywhere. And then he takes the evil pieces inside his chest and rips them out and throws them on the ground. And he says, damn, that felt hardcore. And then he started gasping, and then his regeneration kicked in. And he started regenerating. And he felt a bit more powerful after that. He decided to go off and train. So he left without a trace. The O.R.C was wondering, where did he go? They felt regret after seeing his broken eyes. Like they had done something wrong. They had went to find him, but they couldn't go anywhere. They saw the Kendo Club mourning, and Karase mourning the most. They were wondering what happened, but they did not know the true horrors of what Karase said. They could only guess. What happened after that is that Karase told them that she told Issei to kill himself because he was such a pervert and everything. And Rias was shocked. And then she realized, she saw his brokenness, he must have actually done it. So she tried to find where his evil chess pieces were. But she found them, and what she saw scared her, scarred her, and made her regret what she said. She saw the evil pieces lying on the ground without any magical energy within, and blood splattered everywhere with a knife and a note with ashes everywhere. So basically what happened, guys, is that Issei created a clone of himself, stabbed his clone, killed him, then lit him on fire, and he turned into ash with the paper filled with magic to not burn. So basically he faked his own death that way. And when they saw a charred, burnt corpse with a knife stuck in its chest and a note in its hand, blood everywhere, chess pieces on the ground, the fountain, the old sky turned red, and the fountain itself turned red as well. This scared Rias and the Parage. They did not believe what they just saw. They just saw the aftermath of a suicide by a dragon. They must have realized something happened. There's no way a fire like this could have just taken down Issei. No, they had faith in Issei, even after all those damn things they said to him. But no, Issei's not one to easily forgive. No. Issei is gonna kill them. And they're gonna realize why. What did they do? Why they did it. But that, guys, is a story for another time. But we continue. No, I'm not ending it here. No. I'm not ending it here. And then they saw the note. They read the note. Katase felt the worst. Because of her, Issei is dead. She didn't know it would end up like this. She didn't think Issei would actually kill himself. But boy, was she wrong. He did. He did kill himself. And it's only because of Katase that it happened. And so, the whole school was in mourning. Azazel, all the maous of the devil world, the fallen angel's leader, everybody knew about Issei's death. Everybody was surprised about Issei's death. But Rias' Priage took the hardest blow and immediately just went inactive. They could not handle the truth that because of them, Issei died and killed himself. The Red Dragon Emperor went missing, and he was presumed dead by everybody. And so, the Red Dragon Emperor is now known dead to the world. But to him, he is still alive out there in the void, training with Great Red himself. He's training with Great Red in his human form to become the strongest Red Dragon Emperor. And so, with Great Red, he unlocks his ultimate, he perfects his balance breaker. He becomes the ultimate balance breaker. He's stronger than Vali ever will be. And so, he goes forward and he says to the Red Dragon Emperor, "It looks like it's time for me to return to the human world. And for me to see the shocked faces of those filthy traitors," Issei said with contempt. And so, Issei went back to the world. And guys, I know this might be a bit rushed, but no, there's going to be more than one part. Don't worry. So, Issei, okay guys, so Issei went back to the human world. He had trained with Great Red for over 2 years in the dimensional gap, which is at least 2 weeks in the real world. I don't know if that's the scaling, guys, but I'm just gonna go with it. Alright, so Issei went back, and then Rias and everybody felt this gigantic magical power, and they didn't realize it was actually Issei's. They were wondering, whose magical power could that be? What they didn't know was that the person they betrayed, that was their magical power. So Issei went back to the human world, and he went back to school. 2 weeks, everybody moved on. Everybody stopped caring except for Sizrechs and Riser. They all did not realize that Issei was alive. Riser knew that Issei could be alive still. He just kept believing. You might be wondering, why did Riser believe? Guys, Riser's not that bad of a guy. In this story, he's actually going to be a pretty nice guy to Issei. And so we just continue. So Issei goes back to school. He goes back to his home, and he sees that his parents forgot all about him. Memories wiped, clean. They all forgot about who Issei even was, or they didn't even know who he was because he changed. He looks different, much different. He's toned, muscular, taller, 6 feet tall. He's stronger. He can go into balance breaker and stay in it for like 6 months without magical drain. His magical reserves are Satan class level, and he is OP. And he might be able to fight. He is on a mission to find the king of monsters and its enemy and fight them both to prove that he is the strongest and he'll be the reign as the Dragon Emperor and the King of Monsters. That is his dream. That is his conviction. And so he goes back inside the school. He signs himself up and he chooses a different name. Not Issei, no. Not Hyodo either. His name is John Jackson. That's his name, John Jackson. I know it's not a good name, but that's what I thought it should be. So John Jackson goes to school. And remember, he's Issei Hyodo. So he goes to school and he sees Sona Citri. And she looks a bit conflicted. He sees them and he must thought that his death must have conflicted all of them. Because he may have been a pervert, but he was good friends with everybody else. Except for the school and Rias. And the Purage. And he didn't care about hiding his magical power. He just let it flaunt. He flaunted his magical power. Like it didn't really matter to him at all. So he just went to school. And he said, "So, Citri, it looks like you've seen better days, huh?" And Sona is wondering, he knows I'm a Citri. How? I don't know what you're talking about. Come on, Sona, you can't trick me. Has it really been that long? Who are you? I've never seen you. You may not remember me, but I changed my name. My new name is John Jackson. I've heard of this guy called Issei Hyodo. He was my brother. He died. I was wondering what happened to him. Now, Sona was shocked. She didn't know that Issei had a brother. And Issei doesn't have a brother. But she's wondering, where did this man come from? How does he know my name? And for all she knows, that this man could be Issei himself, just undercover. Because she believed that Issei was still alive. And so she just asked him, Issei never told me I had a brother. Issei didn't tell you a lot of things. He didn't even tell you how he became a pervert too. But if you really know how he became a pervert, you guys wouldn't have ostracized him from the school. I know what happened. I know Rias and her Parage kicked him out. That he killed himself because of it. That everybody told him to die. You should be ashamed of yourself. Calling yourself the school president when you can't even help a kid like that. And you call yourself someone who wants to help young devils build schools, huh? With that kind of the way you're running this school, I feel like you are doing horribly already. And so, Sona taking a bag, John Jackson just takes his schedule and he goes to school, goes to class. He goes to class and then he sees all the people that ostracized him at school, and he's wondering, these guys really think that they got it up in here, think they're smart, huh? I bet if I reveal who I was, they'd be shocked, really shocked. But what can I say? Once a devil, always a devil. And so John, he went to his class and he went inside. And then the teacher asked for his name. And he says, "My name is John Jackson." And the teacher asked, "Can you tell us a bit about yourself?" And then Issei said, "Sure. So, my name is John. I'm Issei Hyodo's brother. You know, the guys that you forced to help, he almost killed himself because of you guys. So, yeah, I'm really mad about you about that one." And they're wondering, what? What? How does he know? And then he's like, "Oh, you're wondering how I know? Well, you see, being his brother, I kept tabs on him, so I know almost a lot about him. I also know who kicked him out of the O.R.C. And then he's looked straight at Konako and Kaiba, and he's like, "Right, Konako, Kaiba. Oh yeah, remember the sword project, Kaiba? You really want me to talk about that now, don't you? Piece of shit." So, and then Kaiba was surprised that this man legit just cussed at him. And then came Konako and he started bashing. He was like, "Oh, looks like the poor kitty cat out here. Looks like she can't handle anything herself. I remember my bro. He told me how he helped you with your troubles. But you just cast him aside. And you, Kaiba, he called you a brother and you cast him aside as well. You know, you should be ashamed of yourself. calling yourself family when you just betrayed the strongest member of your Parash himself. And you guys call yourselves devils. Well, you really are devils with the kind of evil that you guys are. So then, John just sat down. And now, immediately on high alert, Konako and Kaiba were. They were wondering, how the hell did this man know? How did he know about Issei? What they didn't know was that it was Issei himself, the man, the myth, the legend, Issei himself. And so, they went forward, and they went to talk to him. And he said, don't even talk to me. Get away from me, piece of shits. Get out of my face. And so he just sat down. He went through the lesson, and he was super smart, because like he's training with Great Red, but he wants to be smart too. So he answered everything perfectly. All the girls are like, hey, we want to go out with you or stuff like that, whether he was single. And he's like, I don't want to go out with my brother's murderers. And he just sat down. And everybody was feeling very guilty, had their heads down. But one guy went up to him and said, oh really? You know he was a pervert, right? That he would always go around pervert? He deserved to die. And that's when Issei had enough. He got up. And his magical aura surrounded the whole school. It was covered in his aura, and he let it rip. Everybody was on the ground. The man who told him about this was fainting, and he almost killed every single human in that school with his aura. They almost all died. And then came Rias. She rushed in, and then she saw John Jackson, and she saw his devilish aura, his gigantic aura, and she wanted him in his Parash, so she would do anything to get him. And so Issei just went and left school. It was nighttime, and he went inside his bed, saw his mindscape. In his mindscape, he saw something different. He saw a black dragon fighting his red dragon Ddraig. He didn't know what to do. All he saw was carnage everywhere, and he asked, who are you? All of a sudden, and the dragon turned on Ddraig, said, move out of the way, Issei. Issei did not listen. Instead, he went and he roared a gigantic dragon roar, which stopped the black dragon in its midst. And Ddraig was surprised. He didn't know that Issei could roar like a dragon. A true dragon roar that caused even fear, even in Ddraig's heart. In fear in the black dragon's heart. And the black dragon stopped and said to Issei, well done, Issei. Yodo, you have passed my test. I want to see if you are truly a real dragon or not, and you have caused fear in my heart. You are truly the Dragon King, the next successor to that throne. So, I am the Black Dragon, and you shall now become the Black and Red Dragon Emperor. Oh really? Sounds nice. Yes, shall be. Now come, take this gear and use it for your conquest on those devils, so then they can know the pain that you felt when they betrayed you. And don't forget, Issei, though everybody will be gone, me and Ddraig will always be there for you. And then Issei says thank you, and he wakes up. He sees a bulge next to him. He takes up the covers and he sees Rias. Normally, his perverted nature, he would be happy. But no, not this time. This time, he's angry. He's angry. He's like, how dare she? How dare she think that he's that easy to take over? No, he wakes up, and then he goes, takes out his claw, and then punches her in the face. And she's knocked out of his room, out through the wall, onto the street. And then she gets up, and she's wondering, what the hell just happened? I got punched. What happened? And then she's wondering what really happened. And then out of nowhere came Issei. And he said, just who the hell do you think I am? Someone who can be taken over that easily? You think a trick like that, sleeping next to me, will make me join your pitiful Parash? How dare you? How dare you? And then Issei rage was taking over because he hated Rias a lot. He wanted to kill her right now. He had the power to take on anybody. He had the power to take on Sizrechs himself. Even though he didn't want to hurt Sizrechs, he would have to if this is what it would take. And so, Issei went towards Rias, anger filling his heart, rage everywhere. And he said, "Run, girly, or you're about to feel the biggest pain in your life." And then Rias just teleports away. And then she's wondering, what the hell happened? Who was that? And how dare he put his hands on me? He dare punch me, huh? And so Rias is a bit mad, but then Issei is boiling with rage. The houses around him were getting destroyed. Layers upon houses were getting just broken and everything. And then Issei came down. He said, "So they will regret coming down in my domain, a dragon's domain." And so Issei gets ready for the day. He doesn't even bother putting on his uniform. He just puts on a blue blazer along with dress pants and dress shoes. And he looks like he's ready to go out on an outing. So he just goes to school in that. Everybody's gossiping about how he looks. And then everybody's wondering, why is he wearing that? Why is he not wearing the uniform? Issei does not care whatsoever. Teachers come and ask him to wear the uniform. He's like, hell no. I own this school. You know what? I've been amassing my riches. How much is school worth? And they're like, oh, 3 million yen. Really? Well, how much? When can I pay for it? And that's when the principal and everybody are surprised. You know, the owner of the plot of the land, he thought that Issei was joking. Nah. Issei ain't joking. This man legit gonna buy the whole school. And so Issei signed the contract with the man who owns the land. And then he bought the whole school, essentially. He is now the principal of the school. Sona Citri is now just part of the class, no longer the principal. And so, since Issei's the principal, he instills new rules. No uniform for boys. All perverts kicked out of the school. All of them now. So every perverted man, that means there was only like 5 or 6 men left, basically, that were not perverted. They were not kicked out, but every other man was kicked out. And so, this brought peace to the school. Issei was doing something good for the school. Every perverted man and woman was taken out of the school, even teachers and students, and even women students as well. Then he made it a whole thing, whole new regiment. And he said, anyone who disobeys these rules will be under fire from me. Anyone who disobeys my rules, and disobeys what I say, will be under fire from me. And anybody who breaks all 2 of these rules will be expelled. Is that understood? He said on the speaker. Everybody understood. Now, you may be wondering, why is Issei doing this? Why is he helping out the school? Look, guys, Issei doesn't care about the school whatsoever. He's just doing it so that he can cement his way into this. He wants to own all of Kuo. He wants to show everybody that this is the land of a dragon and that nobody's allowed here except for who he allows. And so, Issei begins his total domination of Kuo. He says on the speakers once more, anyone who has an issue, please report to the office now. And so all of Rias and Sona's Parage came. And then they asked him to change the rules. And then Issei says, no, I have nothing to gain from changing the rules. This is my land now. I own the school. You can't do anything about it. And then came sizrechs himself. And then he's like, oh really? You really think that you can just own this land? Issei's like, yeah, of course. I'm the one who bought the land, so I own it. And then sizrechs was a bit taken aback, but he realized this man was telling the truth. And then he asked him if he could take on a battle. Sizrechs, Rias' Parage, and Sona's Parage against him. And he says, look, I am the Devil King. You have to obey my order. And that's when Issei's dragon pride kicked in. And he said, look, nobody is allowed to order me. And then Ddraig appeared on his left arm. And everybody's surprised. They're like, wait, that's Issei's sacred gear. And then Rias goes in front and he tries to attack he tries to attack John Jackson. And he's like, John, what did you do? That's Issei's. And he's like, so all of a sudden you care about Issei, don't you? When you betrayed him, made him kill himself, charred himself in a corpse, or when he helped you become a brother. And then Rias is like, how do you know about that? Well, that's because I am Issei Hyodo, the man you all betrayed. And yeah, guys, that's where I'm going to be ending part 1 to what if Issei was betrayed. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. This is Teen Shallot, out of here.